So it's about 4:30 a.m. I've driven about 10 minutes down the road to Sharps Beach, which is sort of in between Lennox and Ballina. The sun should be coming up soon. There's a faint glow on the horizon there, you can see. So I've come here with a couple of shots in mind, and yeah, I'll just have to hope that the sunrise is all right. See what we can get. So let's get to it. So I've made it where I want to be. I've had a quick scamper around those rocks over here. My car's parked around the corner, and I've just scampered over these rocks. And I'll show you why I like this place. It is very dark, but should be able to see there is this bay in here where the waves come in, and it's very hard to make out in this low light, but there are all these sort of, I'll call them medium-sized rocks or large pebbles, and every time a wave comes in here, as it's heading back out to sea, the backwash pulls all the rocks all over top of each other, and they make this noise. And it sounds really cool. But I think there's also a great opportunity for a lot of shots right through here. And then also, if I just walk over these rocks a bit, there is something else that's pretty cool. Out over here, closer to the ocean, we have a little rock ledge just there. And as the waves come in, we get some really cool long exposure photos right there. And that's just a little one. But over here, there is another one just there. A bit hard to make out from where I am. See if I can get there. Have a look at that. So, another little rock ledge that's sitting out to sea, and you can get some really cool shots here as the water comes over and crashes over those rocks. So, that's what I'm going to try and do to start with. Try and do a long exposure before the sun comes up, and see what we can get. Cool. So I tried having a go over there with the waves, a couple of different directions, but I didn't really like what I was getting, so I came over here to have a look at this little rock that's sitting out in the ocean here. And I moved around a bit, tried to get different angles, but I'm not liking the look of the sunrise here. It's actually going to be a pretty boring sunrise. That sky up there is pretty meh, so I doubt I'll be able to get much, but definitely I'm not going to be able to get anything with the current lens I got on here, which is Sigma 8-16mm, which is really cool for a lot of wide angle shots, but with that sky the way it is, I definitely can't point out that way. So I was actually thinking I might just change my lens, to my 7200 and see what I can get with that. Because I think it's far easier to restrict what people see with a 7200 than a super wide angle lens. But looking over that way, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm actually going to head over there and see what I can get over there. I've come over and I'm pointing this way now. I'm getting that nice sky colour in the sky up here. I'm getting some photos I like the look of at the moment. We'll see how they turn out later. But at the moment, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm standing on rocks here that are a little bit wet, which means I kind of got to keep one eye on the ocean over here. The last thing I want is a wave coming in, wetting my gear. I'm pretty safe where I am. There's very little chance of a wave coming up and knocking me off. But still a good idea to keep watch. So, yeah, I'm going to shoot a couple more of these waves. But over here, sun's just coming up now. I'm not bothering to point over that way because it's all going to be hidden behind that cloud over there. Which, so I won't see anything for about another half an hour maybe. See how it goes. Hopefully, I'll get a bit of colour through the clouds over here. So yeah, I might see what I can get. I keep shooting that way. If the sun changes, I'll do something different. Making enough as I go along. So I'm going to be careful where I stand here because the water is wet, but I'm also straddling these two rocks just because of where I am. So with any luck, I'll get a bit more colour out that way. I'm still doing some long exposures. They are 0.6 of a second, which is, you know, pretty slow for a long exposure, but what it means, it's just about the perfect speed for getting shots that have energy in them still. So the water's not milky smooth, it's not just frozen solid as ice, but it's moving and it's got energy, and that's more or less what this place is about for sure. These waves come in here and they just whoosh up the cliff there. I'll see what else I can get. All right. So the sun is well up now. We got a lot of those crepuscular rays come up from above those clouds. And over here we actually have a couple of surfers just headed out. They're going to have a pretty tough time of it, I think, because there is not much to catch out there. But hey, if you want to surf, now's the time. It's the perfect time. Yeah, it's just the surf out here at the moment is just a mess. You have a look behind me there, absolute just mush, which may or may not have ruined my chances of getting dolphins out here today, which was something I was crossing my fingers for. They still might show up. It's still early. It's just the dolphins, they love coming out here and surfing the waves out here as they come through and jumping in the air. So I was hoping I'd get some of them out here today, but it looks like they're all still sleeping. There's some bugs that are attacking me at the moment. I'm trying to deal with them. I think at the moment, I'm just waiting for that sun to come up a little bit more so I can see what it'll do to these rocks over here. I've been pretty much shooting exclusively over this way, over behind my shoulder here. It just seems the nicest part of the whole sky. Over there, the sky's a bit bland, a bit boring. As we come round though, it just gets better and better and better. And over here is looking real nice at the moment, but it's very hard to get a composition from where I am. I can have rocks in the foreground and water in the midground and sky in the background, but it's just sort of a meh photo. So what I was doing just before, I've whacked my 70 to 200 on, you can see there, and I have been shooting some long exposure photos of the waves coming in, the rocks hitting the rocks, which is actually looking pretty good. A lot of people don't think about using telephoto lenses for landscape photography, but it's actually something I really like doing. You get some really interesting shots, so it's worthwhile having a go at. If you've never done it, it just gives you a whole new perspective. You can find a landscape that is, so I think you can find landscape photos easier. Bit of a wave there. I think you can find landscape photos a bit easier if you're using a telephoto lens. If you're using a wide lens, it gets difficult because you've got a huge frame and you're trying to create this clean image without distractions or elements that are somehow detracting from the photo. So that's where a telephoto lens is actually really useful. You can get something very easier, I think, than even wide angle lenses, and you get photos that I just think they look awesome. It might be because this is my one and only L lens, so it is just, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Either way, I do like doing it, and I think it's something it's worth having a go of. If you haven't done it before. Well, I'm going to keep shooting some of these waves while I've still got not quite enough light. Well, it's still relatively low light. I can do some long exposures still. So I'm going to do some of them. And then when the sun comes up a bit more, I might see what happens. Woo! Big wave there. All right. So, pretty excited right now. Just had a pod of dolphins, a big pod of dolphins come past. As soon as I saw them, I immediately switched my settings over for a fast shutter speed because I was still shooting slow. So I made sure I quickly changed the settings to make sure they're all good, and then started shooting these dolphins. You might still be able to see them over here. See if I can find them. Might be difficult to spot, but they're just over there still at the moment. There's a couple there. Probably won't be able to see them on the camera here. I think they're chasing some fish at the moment. Yeah, it seems like they're chasing fish at the moment. So with any luck, they'll come back a bit this way. But I got really lucky. I was pointing my camera in the right direction, and one of the dolphins decided they'd jump up in the air. So I've got this photo of this dolphin doing this big jump out of the water. I mean, I wish that it had done it over this way, in front of the sun, but it actually did it over here. So the background's a little bit boring, but we shall see how it turns out in post. I had to look at the screen then to make sure my wink looked good. The dolphins seem to be more active from what I've seen in the morning. They like jumping through the waves. So with any luck, that pod comes back, or another pod comes along and decides to have a crack. The problem is, it's just not much for them to jump. There's not many ways for them to catch here, so anything I get is very lucky, really. I can't believe that one dolphin decided to jump. Didn't seem to be much point, but he had to go, and I got a photo, so that's pretty cool. Now, so keep an eye out and see what else I can get. One interesting thing to note at the moment, I'm walking on all these rocks, and usually when you're walking on these sort of rocks, Normally you'd wear something like volleys or something, some rubber volleys, just gives you good grip. But what I actually prefer doing here, because the rocks are so relatively smooth, I actually go barefoot. And what that means is I can use my toes to sort of grip things a bit easier. I can feel the rocks. Yeah, I can feel the rocks. So with my feet, so I have a better idea of what's going on. Sometimes when I'm wearing shoes, they can get a bit slippery, and I've found that barefoot actually seems to work better. I get better grip. Wet rocks aren't as slippery. So it's an interesting little tip, but you got to be careful that you still don't cut yourself. You don't stand on a barnacle or something. I'm usually pretty careful of that sort of thing. I've never cut myself, fingers crossed, doing this on rocks before. So hopefully I can maintain that pristine record. Out here it's not too much trouble. It's relatively clean rock. So it's very easy to avoid anything sharp. Now's about the time that I like changing from shooting long exposures to short exposures, or fast exposures rather. That sun coming up, I should be able to get some cool looking wave shots. There's some golden light on the water, so that's what I'm after. At the moment, the sun's just got to get above that cloud there. It's not too far away, so now it's a bit of a waiting game. There's still really good lights. I'm shooting some nice golden light on the water, but I want that sun to really blast onto it, get us a lot of contrast. You might have also noticed I've got this very classy looking pegs attached to my shirt. It's just holding my mic in place. The actual clip that comes with the microphone didn't come with my microphone, so yeah, I'm actually in the process of getting that fixed, but it doesn't help me now, so a peg. It looks kind of stupid, but it does the trick. I wouldn't mind seeing that kind of production quality on Game of Thrones. I think that'd be really good. Well, I was about to say the sun's out, but it's just gone behind that cloud again. So that's a great story, isn't it? Oh, it's still a bit of sun, but it's really lighting up those cliffs. It looks really cool. So I think it's about time to send the drone up. From my experience, just waiting for that sun to start hitting the rocks, start hitting everything, light it up a bit. That's the time to be flying a drone. If you're flying before sunset, even though there's light in the sky, you can see the drone and everything. It doesn't look all that great. It's too dark really for my drone to handle it anyway. It just doesn't look that great. So wait for that sun to come up, start lighting up everything, and that's the time. Send the drone up, see what we can get. I just think that's really cool that this is my drone. This fits in the palm of my hand. I mean, it's like how small it is. It's so crazy. This is a drone. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. Alright, so I've put my drone up in the air, and there's some sort of issue with the SD card. Not quite sure what it is at the moment. Have to have a better look at it when I get home. Which is kind of annoying. It's a new one actually. Bit disappointing. I got some footage. It was weird, but not as much as I'd like. Should have to come back sometime. Get a better SD card. It might have been a dodgy one. Not sure. But yeah, that is just about it for this video. I actually might take a few more photos just around here. You can see those cliffs look really cool right about now. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.